back on this Sunday morning with Lieutenant Governor Randy McNally. We appreciate you being here again. Dennis?
When I first met you, Governor, you had another job. You were a pharmacist.
Pharmacist, right.
And I would like to know, in the grand scheme of things, what the great and sovereign state of Tennessee is going to do about this epidemic that is, you've touched on it, of fentanyl and other drugs. We seem to be going backwards rather than forward. What in your scheme of things, are we going to do about that? It's a huge problem.
It is.
And I would just add to that, the CDC ranking Tennessee is the second worst in the country when it comes to this opioid problem, with the most recent numbers.
Right. And what we have done with the ability of physicians to prescribe certain scheduled medication, we have cut down drastically on that and set a lot of new rules in place that govern how prescriptions can be written and how often you have to actually see the patient and that type of thing. But I think one thing that we have to address is the demand, and that can only be addressed through education, I think. And so that's one thing we'll be looking at. The second is make sure that we crack down on the sellers, particularly. I saw a video of a fellow who was explaining how he packaged the fentanyl. And he said, now in this package, I'll put a real high dose, and it's enough to kill a person. And what the word on the street will get out, well, this is good stuff, so it'll sell better. So it's, we're gonna, do what we can with law enforcement and the courts and that type of thing in order to stem the tide.
And Governor, when everybody talks about the opioid epidemic, they talk about what they see, what they hear in the news. The part that's hardly ever talked about are the kids that are affected by this. And when you look at the data, USA Kids Count book has the state of Tennessee with almost 109,000 kids that live in a home where neither parent reside. Most of that because of the drug problem in the state. So that's 109,000 kids that live with relatives or in a home where neither parent. So kind of talk to us about what the state's doing just to help bring support and stuff around those families, and how we're going to continue that, because we can't lose the next generation the way we've lost this one.
Yeah. Well, I think there's a lot the state can do in supporting there are organizations out there like the CAC centers, and I know my daughter Maggie is involved in running one. And the problems that they see are really horrendous. The reports that they get when a child is either through neighbors or through a medical facility or a nurse or a teacher at school, a lot of times will bring it to their attention. And it's, but certainly providing strong support for those type of organizations that are involved in child health. Whether it's physical health or mental health, we increase the number of counselors in schools, and we can probably go further in that direction.
Last year, you all made a point of spending a significant amount of money to try to meet the seriously wanting needs of DCS in terms of pay and personnel. I'm curious whether you think what you all did last year, which did involve a lot of money, was enough, or if you think there's still more that's going to have to be done.
I think there's still more that has to be done. Because the problem just keeps growing, and I think you're trying to empty a sinking boat out with a cup, and it's the fentanyl is coming in through China, and supposedly we've reached some agreement with them not to produce as much, but I think you can go on the internet today and just buy fentanyl, which shouldn't happen at all. And it comes usually through Mexico and comes in with, immigrants that are trying to cross the border. So I think there's definitely things that the federal government can do that can help out.
We only have about 30 seconds left, Governor, but when people look at the legislature, many times they don't have a favorable impression. What can you reassure the people sitting at home today who say they just don't deal with the real issues? What do you say to them?
Well, it's really up to the individuals. They elect us. We're not a self-appointed body, and it's important that they vote, and it's important that they take time to read about the different candidates and to vote.
We'll leave it there. Lieutenant Governor
Well,
Randy McNally, we appreciate
Thank
your
you.
time. We wish you the best healing up and wish your bride the best as well.
Well, thank you.
Yes,
I
sir.
appreciate it. Thank you.
We'll be back with our last minute talk with these guys right after this.